Welcome, one and all. Hey, Jack, how you doing, buddy? Yep, Shortle, we're announcing the winner of the Faewild Holiday Challenge right now, actually. Not always. Sometimes they won't tell me I'm muted for, like, ever. Or my camera's off, or something's weird. Hey, Joe Drek. So, let's see. We got Wolfie, Raven, Abydos, Quaid, Mondu, Seisu, Kaihira, Gorvidal, Rihannes, Shortle, Game Master Eric, DisturbedRick. Let's see here. Jack, Rutrin. So many faces here. Did I miss anyone that said hello? Pie Man and Joe Drek. Welcome, Zep. How you doing? Got a big turnout today. Welcome, one and all. So, today we announced the winner of the Damn Challenge, which, as you know, is a bi-weekly event. Hey, Dirty Rollers. Hey, Chow Geo. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Got some first-time chatters today. It's awesome. You forgot. You love the program. I appreciate it, Joe, Jodrek. Rutrin, how you doing? So, I was actually just a guest on another stream. A community member of ours, Nikki, Nerds Out, she streams here on Twitch. She invited me to be a guest on her stream, and we hung out for a little bit and chatted Dungeon Alchemist, D&D, AI, etc. I mean, why not both? Why not both? Just a little mad. So our damn challenge was Faewild Holiday. There was like 7 or 8 entries, some really good entries, and this one in particular really resonated with me. Excuse me. It's made by GetJiggyWithIt. And it's called the Faewild Tree of Life Celebration. The Tree of Life has brought a bountiful harvest to the Elvish community, one worth having a celebration. Enjoy the various forms of art, culture, and intoxication this community have to offer in this very lively hub. I just thought it was a very cute and like well-designed map. And not only that, it's just really interesting. I'm good, Jack. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you're emotionally exhausted, my man. That's rough. Luckily, you're at the stream where all your troubles leave at the door and you just get to hang out, right? Hey, Reb, how you doing? So, we had a lot of neat entries, but this one in particular really, really just kind of brought it all together. They used this tree, oversized it, really put a bunch of lamps on it, made this neat little wooden platform here, kind of like a boardwalk. You know what? Let me just show you from first person so you can see. So I wonder, is the creator of this map present? Get jiggy with it. Take a look at these little booths. If you change to night, it changes your skybox. So under lighting here, if you go from day to night, it'll change your skybox in first person mode for, like, you know, scenery shots and stuff. And then the paintings, yeah, those are great. So when you put paintings in Dungeon Alchemist, You can click on most of them and insert custom images of your own. So as long as you have the file present on your computer, boom, ready to go. The skybox is improving with time. Vim is the one who made the initial skyboxes, and he's getting better all the time. Ooh, I do love the little wispy smoke on the water here. Smoke on the water. Don't copyright strike me. Nah, nah, nah. Anyway. But you can actually insert custom images into a lot of things in DA. So here we have paintings, right? You can actually insert them into like signs and billboard type things. We have custom assets. So under place objects, you can go in here and say place a customizable disc like this, right? And let's see. Remember where my abstract are. One moment. Oh, I found them. Okay. So you click on this like you want to change it. And in my case, I have a whole bunch of abstract effects, right? Let's say I wanted to put blood. So I would like a pool of blood. Let's do this red one here. Actually, let's do blue. And now we have this here on top of the wood. I can, you know, shrink it. Oop. I gotta make sure I select the right thing there. I was selecting the incorrect portion of that. But I can now, you know, move this around, resize it, and kind of shape it just the littlest bit. What's so organized, Aloe? Oh, it's a mess. Are you making fun of me? I guess it's okay. I have to keep everything organized or I'd lose it. I actually have like... Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry, just, to me, it seems like a mess, I guess. Oh, what? Ha, right? Final 1, Final 1.A, Final 1B, Final 1C, Final 2. Oh my goodness. Here. This is just like all of the maps I've ever downloaded. So some of them are just like whatever. Some of them are dated and go for other things. These are Winter Wonderlands based teasers. These are lava teasers. Yeah, so I guess I am a little organized. Fata Morgana teasers. Now that you say it, I am pretty organized. Okay, so this map is amazing. I really love it. Getting Jiggy with It really nailed the theme. We had a lot of beautiful entries for Faewild Holiday, but this one was just interesting and intriguing, and it was fun to walk around. That's why I enjoyed it the most. The use of this tree, the little shops, little homes and stuff. In between this stream, before this stream, I pounded a huge, like 2 cups of coffee, so sorry if I have, like, hiccups. That's why. Oh, I hate leaving files on my desktop. Oh yeah, they're great. They look really good. So, if anyone's wondering, how are these lanterns hung, right? So, you see this lantern here? It actually, if you click place objects and then disable collisions, notice when I disable and enable collisions, this little arrow appears. And now you can kind of move the lantern on that axis that you have moved it up and down until you get it exactly where you want it. So just merge it in with the tree in a spot, and Bob's your uncle. You can look at it from a couple angles, make sure it's hanging in there. So the tree would in fact hide the middle of the map here. This is mainly used for the contest and immersion purposes, Rick. So there's a lot of ways to use Dungeon Alchemist, not just as a top-down export. Well, I'm sorry, Betty. I apologize. I thought he was your uncle. I guess, you know, I should be more open to the fact that he has different relatives across, you know, different spectrums and different ranges of relativity. Okay, hey, let's do a giveaway really quick. Let's see here. Dungeon Alchemist Steam Key. We're gonna run this for 10 minutes. You can enter once. You gotta be following the stream to enter, so make sure you hit that follow button if you haven't already. Is there a goal for making wood items like furniture change stains? So a lot of assets actually do have a hue shifter where you can change their color, and we plan to expand upon that in our Fun with Objects expansion. Basically, one of our many remaining planned expansions is called Fun with Objects, which will give you the ability to resize, twist, tip, you know, recolor, do a lot more with objects, age them, fancy them, you know, do all sorts of stuff. So, like here, you could see this little, like, kind of, I guess it's a paintbrush. If you click on it, you can shift the hue. Notice over here, this object was, it's this one here. It went kind of purple and blue, and you got all these different kind of variations. You also have white and black, so like they were whitewashed or whatever. So you have different options. Hey, Dubois, how you doing, my friend? I actually was talking about you earlier. Wolf Gold, I would say right now that target date is probably 6 to 8 weeks, maybe even further, just because our two lead devs are on vacation right now. Our artists are hard at work working on stuff in the background, though. I've been watching what they've been doing. It's really cool, some of the stuff they're putting out. I cannot share it yet. I've been told very much so that I cannot share it yet, so... So, Zep, I do know that the devs were trying to talk to Ripper, who makes the 3D canvas module for Foundry. They were in discussions with him to see what options there were, and it, from my understanding, is things kind of fell flat on their face because Dungeon Alchemist... And this has been said a lot in our community, very publicly, from our devs, in our Discord, and AMAs, many streams, social, etc., that Dungeon Alchemist is a combination of 3D design mixed with beautifully, like, mapped assets. So, beautiful light mapping and beautiful, like, you know, like, texture mapping. So there's a lot of smoke and mirrors involved. And what I'm trying to get at is not everything like is a 3D object that you could just export and it'd be this beautiful file ready to put in Blender or, you know, Unity or, you know, the 3D print, etc. It's more like a flat surface with beautiful lighting and texturing on it. So our lead dev said this just about a month ago on the stream when he visited, that Dungeon Alchemist is a lot of smoke and mirrors. And it's because of this that the maps are very lightweight and small. Assets are tiny. They don't, you know, they're on average kilobytes instead of megabytes or more. Now, I don't know how things will change essentially when we have 3D asset import, because I'm assuming those assets will increase the file of the map's file size exponentially. So we'll just see how it works. I know right now when you import images and stuff, custom images increase the file size a lot. So Dungeon Alchemist, a lot of people, hey, they ask, and I would love this personally. I am a 3D printing enthusiast. Behind me is a green screen, and behind that green screen is 3 3D printers. I have a resin 3D printer and 2 FDM traditional 3D printers. I love 3D printing, so I'm not against this. The idea of exporting maps for 3D printing is an amazing thing, or exporting them to use in maybe game design or to use in a game engine so you could use it to make your own games with it. But ultimately, it's just not viable with how we designed our assets to begin with. Excuse me. Had we, say, started Dungeon Alchemist and developed it with that in mind in the beginning, it might be the case, but it really just isn't how it was made. So essentially, we'd have to uproot Dungeon Alchemist and redesign it from the ground up to be able to allow full 3D exports with almost any system. Whether it's 3D Canvas for Foundry, whether it's, you know, 3D printing an OBJ export or STL export, or it's to use in like a game engine to make for game design. It just isn't meant for that. The devs designed it to have optimal top-down viewing experience. Now, someone was asking earlier, was it Rick, about the top-down with this map? Let me show you how it would look. Right now, the tree would disturb a lot of it, right? But what you could do is get rid of the tree and do a single export without all the trees to have like a multi-layer, and then put the trees back and do another export. So Foundry has like a top layer and a background layer, and so what that allows you to do is you could set the tree foliage as the top layer, and then when your players walk under it, it would change it. So that would allow you to work within those two spaces. We don't offer a direct export for that, but you can make it work. I mean, Dungeon Alchemist is AI-generated maps, so I'm not sure what you're meaning there. I mean, let me just generate an AI map for you. Here, I've got a cave. Let's do a labyrinth. Let's do a crystal labyrinth with a river, no weather, and yeah, let's do some torches, actually. Create. So, I mean, rather than a text prompt, you actually just select the prompts from a drop-down of options. We can't necessarily offer unlimited prompts because we don't have unlimited assets. So these prompts are designed around the assets and biomes available. But this map was AI generated in just seconds. So there is, I do think, the potential down the future to have things like ChatGPT integration. How that would work, though, is we'd probably have to have a much more fleshed out, you know, system or something that could create AI generated assets on the fly, which I'm not sure how that would work. I do know our devs love ChatGPT, though. They love it. I love it, too. I use it all the time. It's great. Hey, Heronimo, how you doing? So there already is a kind of thematic or immersion roof ceiling or a cave ceiling that just blocks out any sky, and you can actually remove it at will as well. Keep in mind, yet again, as we discussed not 5 minutes ago, it's not a full 3D export. It's meant for top-down exports. So things like cave ceilings weren't necessarily, or roofs or ceilings in general, weren't even a concept or a thought when the devs started developing this. They were making maps in a top-down that would work in, say, virtual tabletop environments where there would be line of sight and it would be blocked out naturally. So, in this case, the sky is blocked out. There's no sky. It's just blocked out. That just is ceiling to me. That's cave ceiling. Now, if you wanted to, say, have a break in the ceiling, under the terrain tools, the cave tab, you could click erase cave ceiling. You erase it there. I think I'm low, so it won't show it. You got to make sure you're in medium or high, or it won't show. To erase that, here, let me redraw it there and get rid of the light so you can actually watch it. So watch the space around my character here. It starts lighting up. And then I can go into the light tools and actually rotate this light and shift it. Or maybe add a, filter to it. That's if you want to have a break in the cave ceiling where light gets in. Yeah, I mean, nothing's stopping you from taking isometric shots for export. You just got to get it just right, and then you got to do the grid yourself. Our system is meant for top-down, and it exports with all of this line of sight information, for instance, for these caves automatically for Foundry, Roll20, Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, and any UVTT. I honestly think when that point comes, Dungeon Alchemist will probably just make a 3D version of itself. Like another version that's meant for that. Hey, Zep, you won. Congratulations. You gotta claim it, though, really quickly. Exclamation claim. You gotta get rid of that little, There you go. There you go. And as I always say, only one of us can win, but we can all be winners by congratulating, our winner today, Zep. So let's give him a pat on the back. And thank you everyone for participating. Remember, if we hit 100 viewers, we will do another giveaway. Every 50 viewers, we do one. Let's see here. Back to chat. Chatbot is chugging right now. I'm going to issue Zep a key. I've heard this song a lot. Okay, just sent it to you. Please confirm that you got that action. That I slid up into your DMs. Okay, so let's take a moment. Now that we've done a giveaway, we've introduced the Damn Challenge map of the week. Let's pick a new Damn Challenge as a community. I'm open to leaving the floor up to suggestions. And maybe we'll have a theme that kind of ends up being the most popular. But we'll have to see. Oof, water deep? You're just wanting to punish people. I really like this lighting in the cave. It's like interesting. Walk around in FP mode. So the sky is out here, remember? But as soon as we leave this space, see, goes back to cave in that FP mode. You know, one theme I was kind of interested in doing? If anyone's open to hearing my suggestion. Let me have the floor, please. No, I'm just kidding. Whoa, that was like a vert. Cool. I thought it'd be fun to have a tavern build off. And the theme is you gotta have a quirky tavern name and a unique tavern. I got stuck. He's like in between the crevice there. So we could always have more unique taverns on the workshop. And someone pointed out the other day on Reddit, they're like, my players say the taverns I make in Dungeon Alchemist all look alike. Can we please get more diversity in tavern assets? And I thought, well, I mean, if you only use the AI to generate them, yeah, sure, they'll probably look alike. But honestly, like, I would like to know how many taverns looked very different back in the day. Like, you know, the ones that still exist they're like old ones, they look almost all identical. But I would like everyone to kind of come up with a cool, fun name for their tavern and do a neat theme and just kind of build a fun tavern, you know? I don't know. That's just kind of my thoughts, my 2 cents, if I had to pick. I mean, I still want to hear most of the community's feedback first, but that's just kind of my... Right? Everyone had the same Tupperware. I mean, most taverns back in the day would have been almost identical in design. It's not like there was a whole bunch of diversity in carpentry or, like, you know, availability and, like, stuff. You know, that's just my thoughts. But I think because of all the stuff you have in Dungeon Alchemist, you could definitely make some interesting, fun themed taverns between the ability to turn off collisions and also the ability to raise and lower stuff. Now you could really have some fun. Yeah, no, you can't use your old map, bro. Heronimo. Pashoisha. No, I gotta get entirely new map out of you, or it doesn't count. I'm just kidding. Honestly, I would prefer it be a new entry instead of a map that's, you know, borderlining on, you know, half a year old at this point. No, so we're deciding on the new theme still right now, Abydos. But I would say the front runner is a tavern. Here, okay. Is there objections to tavern? Is there other themes people are interested in? That's just kind of like. I think Waterdeep would be a hard map for almost any average user of Dungeon Alchemist to make because it's a huge city. So I think, you know, the average city is like a more normal thing. So let's just try and keep the map within an average size. I need you to remake Gondor to scale. The winner gets a $10 Hero Forge gift card. That's a good idea, Wolfie. I don't care what the tavern is or where it is, as long as it's fun and unique and you give it a fun name. So I'll add the extra rules this week, but I think tavern would be fun, so we'll get a bunch of diversity. It's an easy, relatively normal build, and essentially you have a bunch of pre-generated options, and you can go through and customize it. So D&D WorldCom, one thing I've been kind of workshopping and trying to figure out how to coordinate, and I think I've got a plan figured out, is to make a city-size map as a coordinated kind of hive effort. Kind of like a Hollywood Squares type thing, where we'd each take a section and essentially make that section of the map, and the only rules for it would be that there have to be roads at these intersecting points where they'd intersect with other areas. And it's I haven't had time to finish this idea because it's been pinned for a little bit. But I would love to do this where we get, say 9 to 15 cartographers together. See, the thing is, the more people you get, the harder it's going to be. Because there's always going to be someone who maybe won't have the time they thought they did or whatever. But the goal is you make a certain section of a city, and then we essentially take all these and stitch them together to make a master map. Abidos, I don't know offhand, to be honest with you. That is a good question. I would imagine so. I do, you know what's crazy is, so, like, a month and a half ago, I asked Carl, our lead dev, if there was any plans to do the map tracing. And he's like, well, I know people have voted for it, but I don't know if it's a priority. And he's like, well, why would you enjoy that or want it? I'm like, I mean, first off, a lot of people ask for it. Like, there's a lot of votes for it, and a lot of people ask for it on our socials and streams, and, like, constantly it's asked for. But the other thing is it's incredibly helpful when you're making a map if you have a blueprint or a layout of it, and you can trace it by putting it over it. And I think that would allow people to quickly, even quicker than normal, draw out their Dungeon Alchemist maps. And so we discussed this, and like I'm very excited to say that he took it to heart, and now it's going to be part of our next update, which makes me happy. The community feedback is a very important part of the development process with Dungeon Alchemist. So I encourage you, oops, I made a big latrine, that's awesome. I encourage you to, submit feedback to our upvote, share on the stream, share on our, our socials. Last week, Vim was wanting to know suggestions for assets for our upcoming update, the Treasury. And so I went to our socials and asked, and a bunch of people gave feedback, and I took them a list, and now our artists are working on them. That is a massive bathroom. I'm a big boy, okay? How many maps, Random Ladybird? Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations. I'm really proud of you for doing that. That's so cool. Can I just say, like, we have some of the, like, most creative and talented people in our community. I just love, like, sorry, I know I'm sidetracked doing this, thing. We're talking about the damn challenge. Before we, get sidetracked again and start looking at maps and our community maps and the amazing works that there are, I'd like to settle on a damn challenge theme. So did we settle on tavern then? Disturbed Rick, it's definitely on our to-do list to be able to copy groups of objects or buildings, at least within a map. Whether that'll be from map to map, I'm not 100% certain of. One thing I can tell you, though, if you want to quickly adjust a map to another environment, so let's say you wanted this one to be where it's normal and beautiful, you do save, right? So you'd hurry and save. And normal map. And let's just do this on my desktop so I can delete it later. Next, you would go and change it the way you want to quickly change it. So there's several ways you could change this. You could either just rapidly adjust the terrain by, let's just change the water to lava. And let's go into our effects brushes here. We got some fire. Add some fire to the forest. This is going to kill my frames, but you get the idea. And then lastly, I really like to add mood lighting when I do stuff like this. A little bit brighter there. Oh, there's a cutie pie. 1 second. But now you export again, file save as, you now have another map. Because of our AI assisted tools, it saves you a ton of time in making variations of your maps. Alternatively, let's say you want to turn this into, say, a snow environment. You also have options to quickly do that too. So you could just go and quickly add snow. Oh, now we got a snow environment that's on fire, which makes little to no sense, but you get the idea. Okay, let me grab this pupperdoodle. Here, we're gonna go to a new map here. Hi, Seymore. Someone just got about. Oh, Mondu, you could definitely make a tower. So I actually, for one of my builds, I have this like theory crafted build. Oh my gosh, she's shivering so much. Kill the fans. Actually, it'll kill the light. Never mind. So this theory build I have it's called a Wartificer. It's a 19 Artificer level 1 Warlock, and you just take that 1 level dip to take the Genie Pact. Because they give you that bottled respite, right? Or bottled respite is what it is, not respite. Sorry, and it is like it's like a tower in your pocket. You can put it in a ring and you can retreat into it, and it's like a pocket dimension you can hear outside of and store things in. You know, it's crazy. So I was thinking it'd be cool to have this little portable laboratory that you can kind of retreat into when you're bored or need to fix things, and like have your whole like an entire lab with you in a ring or in an earring or a lamp or just some cool little trinket. And yeah, it's an interesting concept for sure. Say hi to everyone. This is Seymore. Oh, too many tissues. Anyway, so I wanted to build that tower or that bottled respite because it gives you a description. It says it's 20-foot diameter, so that's actually 40 feet across, and then it's 20 feet tall. You could make like a nice little base in there with even like a prison and storage, a kitchen, rooms, like a rest area. It's a crafting area. You could do all sorts of stuff. If you get creative with the space, you could even do 2 floors with that much room. 2 10-foot floors or 2 9.5-foot floors, something like that. Anyway, I thought it'd be cool to design that all and then have like that area to be where they kind of like retreat to and do their crafting and other stuff or store stuff for the party. It's kind of like having a portable hole, but it actually is way better. It's bigger. You know those glyphs of warding, like glyphs. You know how you can like put them somewhere and set them up to do different things, like they can be buffs and like traps and other things. So people, you can set them up inside of that respite because it never moves from that location. They're there permanently. And then you can leave in mid-combat, go inside, buff up a bunch, heal yourself, and then jump back out. It is like Leoman's tiny hut, but it's a pocket dimension instead. You disappear inside of a ring that goes to another dimension. Once per long rest, actually. Oh, actually, you can do it as many times as you have. It's like up to your proficiency bonus per day or something like that. And then, or no, that's how many hours you can stay in it. So it's like once per long rest, the amount of hours you can stay in is up to your proficiency bonus. So it's not like a permanent place. It's like a place you go to store things or whatever, but it's a funny cheese idea. Anyway, let's look at some community maps here after I'm done snuggling this puppy. Oh my goodness, there's another baby over here. You guys ready for another fur baby? Thank you for saying hi to everyone. Also, we'll talk about that in just one moment, Deku. Okay, so how do you submit maps for the Dam Challenge? So today, at the end of the stream, a little bit later today, I will put a post in our Discord in the Dam Challenge channel. Which there's a link for our Discord there. And, basically, oh, he's huge. He's a big boy. I can't fit him in the camera. He's too big. Anyway. So basically, using the theme we decided on today, which is, I think is going to be Quirky Tavern, you then submit a map of any shape or size to that Dam Challenge channel using the rules that are pinned at the top of the channel. So there's a post that'll be pinned at the top telling the theme and when the map is due by, and then there'll be a pin posted with the rules. He's a monster. Those are my little lynx. I'm pretty sure he's part lynx. Oh my gosh. So much cat on me right now. Okay. So, yeah, you'll submit it there. In fact, one moment here. Let me hurry and put the Dam Challenge topic updated here. Quirky Tavern. Okay, so the theme is Quirky Tavern, which means come up with a unique tavern name, theme, and then build a tavern around it. Okay. Okay, and then there was a question a bit ago about the campaign. Campaigns take time. So, both in the background aspects of planning it and the corporate aspects of approving everything and making sure it can happen. So, basically, there's a few things going on in the background behind the scenes. Both, my bosses are on vacation, so things are kind of grinded to a halt. There's other things being worked on, supplying for affiliate. Me working on creating both several one-shots as well as writing a story for a long-term campaign that I'm finalizing and building maps for. I do, though, however, I may start reaching out to the community for help with some of the maps. You know, give a theme or a design and let you guys and gals maybe help me with some of the maps and we can incorporate them into the campaign. It is a huge region that I've been making maps for because I kind of want it to not only have a long-term possibility to it, but also have a sandbox feel where the participants in the campaign can really explore this region of the world and go where they want to within that area, within reason, obviously. And I have created a lot of lore and backstory, history, ecology, culture for this region, flora, fauna. I mean, it is growing constantly. And so I know I got to get to this point where it's like I just got to start, but I also need to kind of build my confidence as a DM, and I think that's where the one-shots are coming in handy. I've also been joining a couple campaigns and playing as a player to understand the flow of 5e better from both a player's perspective and a DM's perspective. Anyway, it is happening. It is going to happen. There will be several one-shots. I have not DM'd 5e before. Okay? So, yeah, it's going to be a thing. But here's the thing. I'm confident in my ability to entertain and storytell. Okay? I have played 5e a bunch as a player. I've played a lot of games over the years that incorporate D&D mechanics. Baldur's Gate, for instance, 1, 2, and 3. I played D&D as a young lad years and years ago and took turns DMing with my friends. We'd play, you know, little sessions together. And the thing is I feel like I'm at this point that I could do it. It's just a matter of... Oh, for sure. I'm open to any and all suggestions. And the thing is I've been experimenting with a lot of different VTTs lately because I've been testing them for the community to see which ones work with Dungeon Alchemist's, you know, animated maps, non-animated, all the other aspects of Dungeon Alchemist exports, etc. And I've been trying to see if there's one that works for me, for my needs, you know? So, and everybody recommends different ones, but everybody also needs to find their comfort level with a VTT as well. Yeah, exactly, Wolf Gold. So what I'm actually going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a little, like a 3-shot with my son and his friend, my wife and her friend. We're going to have a little 4-person campaign and play. That'll be my first DM experience as 5e, and that'll be just at home or a little remote experience. It won't be a streamed thing. And then after that, we'll start recruiting possible members for one-shots. We'll do probably 3 or 4 one-shots here on Dungeon Alchemist channel. And it'll be, you know, you'll be a guest for that stream and join us and do your spiel kind of thing. We'll most likely get, like, people from our community, obviously, or maybe other streamers, etc. And then if I find people in those groups that I feel like I meld with and the community melds with, and I'm hoping to kind of pick up a long-term campaign crew that we also incorporate guests from our community and devs. So we'll have like NPCs that are like guest NPC or guest PCs that would be devs and random people in our community. Just do it. If you have an interesting story and can explain it, you will be good and the group will have fun. My only worry is because Dungeon Alchemist is it's a company, right? And you got to be careful with some story elements nowadays. You got to tread a fine line as to not offend people, and you know, and stories, especially Dungeons and Dragons, can get, especially where it's a player-driven story, things can go off the rails sometimes. You know what I mean? So I definitely would like to, you know, make sure we find a good crew that understands what we're trying to do and works within that. Let's open up this map of Heronimos. Smash Bear. Mac, way back with the original preview trailers, I remember that there was a slider to determine the density of assets. That'll be with the fun with objects asset. And you can kind of do that to a degree with the brush density here on the eraser object brush, whatever. But yeah, that is something that I would imagine would come and be more fleshed out with fun with objects. Heronimo, this map is beautiful, my friend. Exactly. So the thing is finding a crew of people that understand the rules and what's good, and then also I gotta have a good, compelling story that is interesting and covers a lot of elements and not too railroady. That's why I'm making a big environment with a lot of things to do. So it's like they can play it like an open environment and do what they want within it, but at the same time, there's kind of a general story. Obviously, almost every campaign is that way. You know what I mean? It is a bone ship. So, if you wanted normal dead bodies, you would either add them in your virtual tabletop, or you could add them using abstract assets. These here are like green screen assets, so you'd take one of these and place it down and then put a body on that. So you could put, there's actually a few that have been uploaded into our community asset section in Discord. But this particular asset, these ones allow you to put an image in them. So you could put, you know, whatever. So in this case, I'm just going to put a map that you can kind of see there. But if that was an image of a body or whatever laying there, then it would look like that. Does that make sense? So right now we only have skeletons within Dungeon Alchemist, but using third-party assets, you could do that. Yes, thank you, Heronimo. I was actually going to pull up a link for it really quickly. Okay, I'm going to share a couple of links, actually. So the first map that we shared earlier, the winner of the Dam Challenge, if anyone was curious. Let's, is that one right there. So that's the winner of the Dam Challenge, the previous one there. And then this one here is Heronimo's that we're looking at right now. So those links right there, if you open them on, say, your Steam app in your phone or your browser on your computer, if you just subscribe to the map, the next time you open Dungeon Alchemist, if you go to the Steam Workshop tab and hit Open Subscribed Map, it'll show a list of all maps you've subbed to. And then you can find said map in alphabetical order. So it is called Charons Ferry, right? So we got to get past all these A's here. Right there. Boom. Click on it. You could see Charons Ferry on the Bone Tide. It's in the title. You can see the votes. You can actually, you know, heart, subscribe, unsubscribe, open the map, and download it. So once it's subscribed, it's easier to find for you inside of Dungeon Alchemist. On Steam, it's kind of confusing. It says subscribe to download, but it doesn't actually do that until you open it within Dungeon Alchemist, like I just did. This map is just crazy. Let's throw a... throw a token on here. Not agreeing with me. Okay, so after you've submitted your map through Dungeon Alchemist, so let's say you made a beautiful map and you've published it, right? You can click on the thumbnail to get to do a different image at a different angle and take a beautiful one and change it for your submission. And you've put it all up and you've published it, right? That's how you publish it to Steam, but you can open it on Steam and then make edits to it. So let me show you particularly. Let me open up my panel so you can see. Okay, so right now this is me looking on Steam on the home page. It's showing all the most popular maps for the last week, right? I can also search maps by just all. I can search by names. Let's say I wanted to edit one of mine. So I go to your files and I hit files I've posted, right? This will go to my maps. Let's say I wanted to add more images to the map. So I click on the map itself I only have one image on here. Say I wanted to add more. On the right here, it says add, edit images and videos. Add, remove contributors, edit links, allow, disallow comments, edit title and description. So within Dungeon Alchemist, you can only do one image at this time and a brief description, but on Steam, after it's published, you can add more content, which a lot of our creators do. You can add your social links so people can find your work or your various socials to commission you, etc. If you hit subscribe here, it says subscribe to download. Will not download until you've actually opened Dungeon Alchemist and opened the map. That's why I pretty much prefer to browse Steam Workshop within Dungeon Alchemist, and I like searching by recent. Oh, that one's pretty. Let's check that one out. So you can click it, and when you hit subscribe and download, it immediately downloads it on your computer in a cached area in Steam. So it's temporarily saved. If you go to File and hit Save or Save As, then you can save it locally. Oh, by the way, to update a map you've already posted on Workshop, Rick, it's actually kind of a weird process, and Steam doesn't make it simple. So let me walk you through that. So let's say I made this map and I made some changes to it and I wanted to update it. Actually, let me open one of mine. Okay, and then I'll be able to show you. Here, this one's one of my favorite builds. This is my Bob's Burger build. So, Bob's Burgers. So if any of you are fans of Bob's Burgers, I made this as a fan build of their home, and it has like a bunch of Easter eggs, and it's all 3 floors of their home. So this is the restaurant, the basement, and their home upstairs, the alley behind, and then the front street area. Anyway, so let's say I made a change to this map. I add another stool, I'm happy with it, I want to update the map. So first things first, you don't want to be updating your maps offline and trying to update them through Steam Workshop if you've already published them, because you cannot do that. If you just try to go and publish again, it will cause a problem. So the first things first, you want to open a map you've already published from within Steam. So you find your maps, find the map you want to edit. So in this case, I want to edit the Bob's Burgers map. I open it from Steam. This means I'm opening the latest version of the build, right? I make edits to the build. So in this case, I'm going to copy the stool, and then you go to Steam Workshop and hit Update Published Map. It'll update all this information and load the updated map. So you need to open your map from Steam Workshop if you've already uploaded one, and then edit it, and then re-upload it. It's a silly process, but that's the way Steam makes it work. Hopefully we can make that simpler in the future. I would love to just be able to go to your map and then just be like, here's the damn file that's the update, and send it in and it's good. You know what I mean? You worked on it offline at home and finished it, and then you upload it. For right now, you cannot do that. You have to open your map from the cloud, then edit it. Anyway, sorry for kind of going over that 100 times. Okay, let's open a Steam Workshop map. We're going to go back to that lovely garden hedge maze because it's pretty. Hey, Dag, how you doing, buddy? Okay, this looks like the entry, or is this the entry? Well, either way, one way gets me in, one way gets me out. So let's pop a token in there and see how long it takes me to get through the hedge maze. Isn't there like a rule of thumb, if you just keep on your left shoulder, you'll eventually find the exit? Yeah, it's like that's how Hedge maze. See, I'm like halfway through already. Dang. No! I can't find it. Hey, I found a chest. Ah! I'm stuck. Where are the exits? And so Mac got lost. And suddenly, Mac never was seen again. Hey! We made it! It's a pretty map, though. Well done. It's like... That was tricky. Okay, let's try and figure the pathfinding for this here. So... Here, I think there's a couple ways to go, because this seems to... Nope, it does not. Yeah, this one gets there, look. Eventually gets there, and then so does this way. So there's at least 2 paths to get to this bridge. That's not bad. I imagine they are like teleporters or transporters or something. There's also treasure, which is neat. And then I imagine these different areas are like encounters or things. You might have puzzles. This guy is here like a guardian of the bridge. Shoot, I mean, it's your campaign. If you come up with whatever here, let's come up with a story for this maze. What are the cages about? Well, not cool. Not cool. Dag, I'm gonna shelf this until we're using. Hey, see you, Rep. A beautiful map, though. Very well done. Hey, happy holiday to you. Alrighty. Let us open a new Steam Workshop map. Jeez, Mondu. Wardian, you guys are evil. Yeah, ER, we did a giveaway earlier, my friend. We hit 50 viewers about 10-20 minutes into stream. However, if we hit 100 viewers, then we'll do another one. So stick around. Looking for an interesting map. This looks neat. Metropolis. I mean, every week we do a giveaway, pretty much at this point, because we have such amazing support in the stream. People constantly keep showing up and supporting us. The thing, though, you need to remember is we typically hit those numbers really quick. So it's best to be here in the very beginning of the stream so you don't miss out on it. At least, you know, try your best to be. I know it's hard to sometimes, but do your best to be there if you can be. Eeyore. Oh man, this is neat. They do a little village here. Like a whole... Oh, I get it. It happens. You know, we all miss out. Maybe. I'll think about that. I mean, at the same time, that kind of punishes the people who were there right away, ready to be there, and, you know, we hit that number, and then they gotta stick around waiting for like a half hour. That's like me saying, hey, we gotta hold 50 viewers to do the giveaway for a half hour. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm kind of at the point I'd like to kind of diversify the way we do giveaways, not just viewership. Maybe some contests or, you know, like trivia and fun stuff like that too. I feel like we've grown enough as a community to start diversifying it. You know, we'll talk about it more, say soon. Maybe we can workshop something. I'd like to come up with some way to reward more people across the stream. Because obviously some people show up at the end, some people show up in the beginning. Not at this time, unfortunately. I mean, you could just stop one, right? And then start it up. Like, they'll all be on their own. That's how you kind of have to give them all, like, a different rotation. That would be the only way. By default, though, they won't be. They'll all be kind of on their own, same. Yeah, Ella, we've had one for 3 months now or so. 2-3 months. We have our own category. Probably not. It's a good question. Let's find out. Let's get down to business. I'm gonna just do... It's too big. Okay, we'll do a very quality. Hope we don't crash the... And... I'll just save it to my desktop. So while this is going over, because WebMs take a minute, the process has been sped up quite a bit, though. Our lead dev improved the way RAM worked in it. Before, it was using up all of your RAM and kind of really slowly rolling over the edge of it, and it wasn't optimized, and he fixed that, so it's a lot more optimized now. Let's see, though. Oh, it's okay, Alo. You know, it's easy to miss. We did blast it across our socials, and we've been talking about it on stream and in Discord and stuff, but honestly, like, no big deal. But the cool thing is if any of you do stream, please use the category, because, yeah, the more the merrier. It's there for you to use and help it grow, and it's actually quite cool that we were able to get it to happen. I think our efforts here, by having everyone follow and constantly supporting the channel, showed Twitch, hey, there was a lot of interest in this, as well as, you know, our community of streamers constantly streaming it or using it in their campaigns here on Twitch. Additionally, our, petition, which was the 6th highest petition on all of the user voice petitions for Twitch. So they finally just kind of took us seriously, which was awesome. I think when the petition was approved, they actually emailed everyone who voted on it too. So unless you had like the notifications off or maybe set it to junk, it also alerted people that way. But yeah, it was really hard to get the word out because not everyone's here every week. You know, there's 30,000 people in our Discord, and I couldn't figure out a way to tell all of them unless I did an at everyone, which I know everyone hates. So yeah, it kind of gets annoying anytime someone posted a message or upvoted. It would go like, whatever. You could set like notification preferences on user voice, but I think I set mine to just only update if there was feedback from Twitch or if there was like an update on it. And that was it. Yeah, it is here. It happened. Can't change the channel now. Oh yeah, I turned off a lot of those notifications. I have a love-hate relationship with Upvote because Upvote is just, like, I feel like if the search system worked in it just, like, 10% better, it would be, like, a lot better platform to use. And I think the reason we get so many duplicate posts is because you could search the exact same thing someone typed in their post and it won't find it sometimes. Right? Like, I mean, like, what do you do there? So this is taking a moment, but remember, we're live streaming at 1080, 60 FPS, 6000 bitrate while we're exporting a WebM map. It's really not an optimized search function, and it really makes our jobs harder. It makes the helpers' jobs harder. It make, Seisu, I appreciate you and Remy and everyone who sifts through and organizes over there. I check it out at least once a week, along with Steam, and like, it is just, sometimes the repetition on there, I go crazy because we have to merge posts like every single day because Upvote's sort system and search system is awful. I really don't, like, you can't blame it on the users when you can't even find it yourself and you know it exists. Right? I do. Don't I? Well, we'll see how things go. Dag, I'm gonna unmoderate you for that. Honestly, though, this would take long for anyone. The WebM exports take a while, and I only did it because the map is 52 by 52. Basically, if you have a map that's over a certain size, I think it's like 40 by 40, you expand past what would be a 40 or a 4K like resolution. There's like 40 by 30 or something like that, and so you essentially want to use WebM so the resolution scales. If you go beyond 4K resolution with MP4, it just starts becoming garbly and gross looking. Doesn't scale properly. Do it, Seisu. Like, I like Upvote. I love it's a great hub for our community, but I do wish it was just a better organized system. Hey, Swedish Cook, how you doing, brother? Oh my goodness, my new air fryer is outside. So my air fryer died the other day. Just like randomly died, and I was looking all through it for a fuse to replace. There's no option, there's no fuse inside of it. I was using my multimeter to like test everything to see like if there was current getting through it. And on the main board for the unit, it like had a popped like whole section of the board just like popped, and I was like, well, that ain't gonna be fixed, so I had to throw it. Oh, I know. I need to get it soon. 1 second. No, trust me, I have to deal with porch pirates like all the time. It's frustrating. I had a video card that I bought myself, an upgraded video card that was stolen off of my porch, and I'm still trying to get the money back for it in a dispute with Newegg. So really cool. Y'all would know if I had a new graphics card, right? My stream wouldn't crash, and I wouldn't have all these like a slow export like this. Air fryers are amazing. They're so much healthier than traditional frying. And I mean, I live in a gated community too, which is crazy. So it's like probably someone in my neighborhood. You know, it's really hard to tell in this map. I can't really zoom in with it. If it was in a, here, let me try something really quick. I'm gonna put it in Foundry. Scene really quick. If it'll load. There it is. Okay, so second. Okay, so we're gonna just create a new scene. So if you hit create scene, Mushroom City, right? And then you hit save. That'll create the new scene. You right click on it. You go to import data. And you click, oops. Hit import data, and then you click choose file. In this case, I have it saved on my desktop. So we have the Mushroom Metropolis file here, which we're going to put the JSON file. And then that's imported. Then you right click on it and go to configure. And then on the background image, you then want to upload the map. So in this case, Mushroom Metropolis. It's saved to data storage. Once it says it's saved, you then make sure it selects said file. Hit save here. And then you can just change scenes. Oh. I'm going to go to the scene. Now let's zoom in and take a look at these bad boys after all that work. They are, in fact, turning at the rate they were going that I set them when they went to export. They're not all going at the same rate. I can tell. This one's raising up now, this one's raising up now, so they're all at a different rate. You gotta remember, though, the person scaled these really small to make it look like a city or an overworld map, so it's not necessarily the best detail either. And I did the low quality. So if you do a high quality, it'll look even better. But yeah, those are designed, they were all rotating at slightly different rates. Oh my gosh, random ladybird, that could be awful. So I've had in this home, since I've lived here, at least a half dozen packages stolen, ranging from the silliest things. So like a month ago, my son's underwear was stolen, like a package of underwear. I've had a package of cutting boards stolen. my graphics card, a monitor was stolen, all sorts of things walk off from my front porch, and it's just, Vegas is bad. Vegas is awful, and it's, you know, I don't know. We could get into a whole topic about that. Yeah, see, the thing is I really don't like going into, like, lots of social open places. What I've been doing is I've been requesting the drivers place it in front of my garage or in front of my side door, which is much more secure. I need a cutting board. Oh, I ended up getting them replaced, but I mean, you probably make a beautiful wooden cutting board. I mean, I'd like to hear about it, actually. Oh, where did you... This is a beautiful map. Holy cow. Oh man, that could be really cool. Or maybe a dice rolling tray with the DA logo in it. Alright, let's move on to a new map. I've been playing this game recently. My son talked me into getting it, and we've been playing it a lot. It's called Project Zomboid. I know it's not relatively new. It's quite a few years old, so I'm like, I've never even checked it out till recently. But yeah, it's a pretty fun game. It checks all the right boxes for me. But basically, you know, for those that aren't aware, it's essentially Sims meets like zombie survival. It's not a really like high quality game. It's like a low quality pixel game, and it's like a top down kind of angled isometric game. And you play a survivor in an apocalypse that happens in like Louisville, Kentucky, a zombie apocalypse, and you lived in Louisville, Kentucky in the 90s when it happened. Oh man, I played Plants vs. Zombies years ago. Years ago. 1 and 2. My son and I used to play it quite a bit. Wow, this is lovely. Dad, come on, man. You shouldn't even try. No, my son and I played those games a lot, and we're like probably level 50 to 70 with a bunch of characters. Like, we played it a lot. I played the pea shooter character a lot, and I had a lot of variations of the skin, and I also liked the cactus in the second one. Crazy Dave, man, that guy is something else. It's a beautiful map. It's well done. So, SwedishCook, what I've opted for is one kind of added rule to this this challenge is I want you to come up with a fun name or theme for your tavern. So, if you could give it an interesting name, design, and the kind of themology. So, like a couple weeks ago, someone said our taverns all look alike, and I just think that, yeah, maybe if you're using the AI, they all look alike, but if you are, you know, willing to dive in and create them, you probably get something really different. My son is 17. So with quirky, I want you to come up with a unique, interesting, fun, quirky name and theme for your tavern. And then go to town with the design. That's all. Nothing too serious. Anyway. So, let's walk around in a token. Take a look at this map. Let's do a city guard, right? Boy, it's cold out tonight. Here's a crashing sound. What's that over there? It's like be an NPC in a video game. Ooh, I like that. Holy is got a food. Sound like I'm an NPC from Skyrim. This town is fake. Can we make it to the roof? Jump! Oh, nope. Didn't jump. What was that name of the false Hydra? Isn't that a new thing? It's kind of a cool new homebrew thing in D&D, where like the town is like people keep disappearing, but they never actually existed. A very pretty map. So essentially, you show your people show up at a town and they start exploring it, and then people start disappearing, but they weren't actually ever there. They were like part of this thing called the False Hydra, which interacts with the people and. Oh, you did? That's cool. Shoot, I don't know. I don't know the exact story of it, so I apologize. This map is beautiful. Let's take another look up above. This would be a great little city, setting. The little battle map. Interesting, Wardian. And Mondu. Interesting. Both of those are really cool explanations. I just feel like this setting would be a good one for a false Hydra. Like, it just seems like the perfect little town for it. Anyway, moving on. Let's open up a new map. I've only read about it a little bit on Reddit, so I don't know the whole concept, so I apologize. I've read about it secondhand, or maybe even third or fourth hand. Oh, let's see here. Let's go like 4 pages in. Can I just say I appreciate y'all being here today, supporting the stream. Been a fun stream day. It's always awesome when it's a stream day. Bro, don't feel like, I mean, how do we help you? You know, like, it's hard to make world maps with Dungeon Alchemist, so if you have to use a different tool to accomplish what you need, don't feel like you're betraying us or doing anything wrong. You're just using the tools you need to do your job as a GM. Like, I mean, there's no carpenter that can make all of his you know, his cabinets and shelves and finish carpentry with just a hammer, right? You need more than just one tool to do a job. And eventually Dungeon Alchemist might be the only map making tool you'll need, but for right now you definitely need, I mean, it goes to say for any of them, you need several of them to really get there. I mean, you kind of can, like we've discussed, but yeah, it's not necessarily optimal. This is great. This has got Vikings written all over it. I love it. Hey, Highland Lass, I hope you are well. Appreciate you being here. Nice. You're 3D printing a longboat? Is there a cave there? Whoa, I didn't even notice that. Ooh. So it looks like they put an abstract in there to really kind of sell it to... Ooh. That's the rounded abstract, so it really gets in there. It just feels deeper. That is... Ah, you can see it from this side here. That is great, actually. It's a wonderful idea, because it even goes deeper and feels more like a cave. Oh, yeah. That's the first time I've seen that, and I like it. I also feel like they probably are... Yep, there's the black smoke effect on it, too. You can see it down there in the bottom. Right there. But, oh, that's brilliant. An abstract also uses a lot less resources than, say, an effect. So if you can accomplish a similar, you know, thing with an abstract, you might as well try. Oh, for sure. I love that. That's more depth than the average cave has, for sure. Very, very unique idea, actually. Well, you could make it a pit, so it's got a natural ring around it instead. So they're fighting in a pit, which would seem more normal for goblins. I would say dirty rollers. That way it has a natural barricade. Alternatively, though, if you want to put things around it, you can use those ropes, you know, that we have. The tethered ropes. Like these. So just, like, put another one and just do it all the way around. You know, like a little bit until it makes... Well, this is a bad place to do it, but you get the idea. Using AI, the AI really only can generate environments that are within like these sets that are data sets that are available, or environments that are, say, like these biomes and the types within them. So you can't just say, "Hey, generate an arena," and hope for the best. Now, there are some things you could use, like we do have like a pit, so you could do like an earth and dig or a, whatever, and then fill that pit with something. So it will fill stuff, kind of generally. But this space here could also be used as a fighting pit. You can put objects and stuff down in there. Yeah, I mean, I would have, let's see here, like random little blood splatters around, kind of like broken little rocks and bits of pieces. You'd probably want a couple of food vendors, things like, I mean, seating is obvious to watch. You'd also want like a booth that's higher up, that's more like the king's booth, you know what I mean? Let's see. What kind of things? Maybe shields hanging on the walls, or different weapons within the arena. Thank you for all the follows within the last 5 minutes. We had Jesu, Fox, and DJ Aslam. Thank you so much. Let's check out another map. That one's really intriguing though. This caught me by surprise. That was a really interesting concept there. Pickles and hot dogs. Sausages. Go ahead, man. Abstract it. Make it. Oh, there's an arena actually already. Let's take a look at this one, see what they've got. So the pit is a combination of hazards. It's like they've got, obviously like crossbows trained on the center if people try to act up, and an area for the prisoners to be kept. Cool little entryways. I do like here they have like tents that would be like a little royal space where these guys hang out and they come out to watch here. There'd be different royal parties watching from different angles. Like different traders, travelers, etc. Here's looks like a betting booth. Ooh, that's a good idea. This could be a bar or a betting booth would be really cool, actually. I think that's a great idea. And that is to talk about Fight Club. They spoke about it. So this one here mostly just has accommodations for the viewers and what looks like a holding cell, like a little betting area here, or maybe a bar. It's neat though, it's clean. I really like the arena itself. They really capitalized on this environment. What are the racks for? Racks? It actually just looks like a top of a cage. They just kind of improvised it to be like a holding cell. So the tracks aren't necessarily tracks here, just more what they could use to be a cage. Does that make sense? This has the, you know, the arena from Star Wars kind of vibe in it, though. When Anakin and Obi-Wan and Padme are all in the arena together and they all have to, like, kind of fend for themselves. That's how I envision it. It looks like a prison cell. Maybe this would where the animal would go. Like something right there. It's a cage that you can kind of see and hear it. You know? But it looks like a holding cell for something crazy. Alrighty. Does anyone have any map suggestions they'd like me to take a look at today? Let's take a look at this windmill. Unbound Lopez, you saw your first ad yesterday? Oh man, crazy. Oh man, this map, bigger than I thought. Holy cow. Go ahead and, what's the name of the map? Let's hear it, Rick. And I'll search it up. Train station. Let's Google it. Let's look it up. This it right here? DisturbedRick. Like your stables. Good. Interesting. Neat little pub. Getting some serious vibes like I'm in a Red Dead Revolver game or Red Dead Redemption game at the moment. Yeah, you need a Mac wanted sign, right? So, if the map is on Steam Workshop, then I can look at it, Rihanna. So, if you've shared it, if you've uploaded it, published it to Steam Workshop, then I can check it out. But if not, then I cannot. There's my hammer. My band hammer. You want me to put the hammer down? This is a lovely map for sure. Ooh, nice little touch over here. Little fishing spot. I like little details like this. So I'm assuming this here leads to another map that you have prepped, planned, blah, blah, blah. Driving me crazy there. Get to the edge. There's little half tracks and whole tracks, so you can fill in gaps. It's a beautiful map for sure. Wonderful. All right, we are in the last 10 minutes of the stream here. And so we're going to be wrapping up very shortly. That means if you want to have if you have any last minute questions, or if you have any maps you want shown, this is the time. That's really cool, Rick. It's a nice map. Really well done. Lovely. I like the little details. The bridge is great. By the way, when you name your maps, it's best to put, no spaces in them, because you want as many words in the title and stuff as possible, so the search options can find. It's easier for people to find it if they search farm or village or dark. So at this point right now, it's like it's not finding anything. Let me try putting no spaces. See, I'm searching farm, village, dark, and it's not finding anything. But now when I put a space there, it gets a little bit more. Let's search by most recent. Yeah, it's having trouble finding it without a space. That's the problem. When did you upload it? And did you set it to public when you uploaded it? One moment. Well, that's exactly how it was shared with me, with a single L. I've searched it with both. With or without, it won't find it, so it doesn't matter. Did you just recently upload this map, Rihanna's? Or did you upload it like a couple of days ago? If you only just uploaded it, it might take a little bit of time for it to show up. And you also have to make sure that when you're publishing your map, that you set it as public so everyone can see it. If it isn't public, you have to open it and publish it as public. Hey, see you later, Dubois. If you just uploaded it, it might take a good 5-10 minutes before it shows up on our end. Steam does take a few minutes to process the map. They review stuff and look at it. So it might take some time. But I highly recommend when you're uploading the map that you put a space in the name. So, you know, put a title like Farm, Village, Dark. That way it's easier for the search to find it, and in the description put more about it there. This is the village of whatever. It's a dark you find it at nighttime when the party arrives, something like that. That way when people search, they find more about it if they're searching for farm, village, city, town, dark, night. It'll find more things. The more is in your description, the more likely your map is to be found. So definitely no space, like try to put spaces and make sure you set the map to public and put a decent description whenever you can. Also, if you click on this thumbnail here, you can go in and take a thumbnail of any angle. So let's say you want this to be the thumbnail. Boom. Now I changed the thumbnail. It's not that I don't want to show your map, it's just it takes a few minutes for Steam to really show them, and we only have about 5 left. So we'll check again in a couple minutes and see if it's there. Sound good? Okay, so moving on. I don't know why, all of a sudden my camera, like, is awful at showing my hoodie. I gotta play with it later. I messed with it earlier, and now it's, like, off kilter a little bit. I have to, like, level it up and get it set up exactly right. So you can at least see the logo once in a while, but now it's like you see this weird little area to the side. You dig? That's better. I like that. Oh, Spam Viking. Hey, you know what, though? You're here, and that's all that matters. I appreciate you being here. I want to give some C and C, Command and Conquer. That's the day you work to have. I was gonna say, I can't see inside, and now I'm bummed. Gotcha. It's a really pretty map, my friend. Stairs are a little high there. But I guess in top down, it's really not that noticeable. Let's see. Pretty good though. This is nice. It's clean. Good swamp vibes. It's gross looking. That's how you want a swamp to feel. It is. It's really nice. Oh yeah, you really capitalized on it. You know what might also be a good effect here is the green or the necrotic. It works really well in swamps too. You're not so. It's just a little bit lighter. Oh, yeah, it would be nice, huh? You know what's great, though? The necrotic fog has, if you look at it really closely, there's swirling, like, spooky, like, skeletons and stuff in it. You see the skulls? It's like those cool, like, holographic stickers in the 90s. It's a very good map. You did a great job on this one, Dirty Rollers. Okay, SwedishCook, Penwose. You know what I'm talking about, right? Dirty Rollers, and you just go like this, and it just looked like a bunch of flying skeletons. Or we also had those magic eye things where you'd like look at the weird jumble of image, and then it would turn into like a hologram. In our next update, we're adding the option to change at least what it does to different water types, so it can do different things. So it can drop like water or acid, etc. I'll add to the mix that you just want to turn it off so nothing comes from it. Exactly, man. And Pogs, too. They were on like Pogs like crazy. You'd probably had like 3 Goosebumps book and an Animorph book with a hologram on it like that. I like the Norse symbols you got here. Do a quick pan. Ooh. Insert copyrighted image here. Ooh, this library is cool. Yeah, I really like this. This is piece de la resistance, or whatever they say. Like piece de resistance. This thing looks amazing. The little podium area here, lecture hall, really knocked that out of the park. Really nailed it there. And I honestly, like, the other rooms have tons of little details that kill it, but that just, like, I do like the lecture hall. Oh, I do like this too. This is cool. But you notice how you could change all the liquids in this? In the future, I think all the liquids will be swappable on that statue. What's the story in here? I know that blood splatter. This is cool. How long did it take you to make this map? Just curious. Ballpark it. It can interact with a lot of things, not everything, nerd perspective. Welcome to the stream, by the way. So, really, you drop tokens into the environment to record, like, immersion, and take immersion handouts and screenshots and chase scenes, intros, etc. But there's a lot of the environment you can interact with in first person, such as doors. Notice they're opening. Lights, you can turn them on and off. Not everything is interactable, but as you can see this environment. So you could be playing, say, Dungeons and Dragons on a normal VTT like Foundry, and then your players could ask to see a first-person view of this area, and you could drop a token in, and they could look around, or you could look around for them in first person. There really is no multiplayer support for Dungeon Alchemist. It's a map-making tool and an immersion tool. So you could take screenshots for handouts and record, you know, walkthrough areas, or even stream you walking through an environment for your players. I'll go see that lecture hall. I like the labels there, very nice. Very cool. Very cool. What's your question, Wolfgold? That's not really much of a question. It doesn't give me much to work with. These labels were made using abstracts here. So essentially what they did here is they put an abstract plane, like one of these, and then they put on that plane a custom image that is just blank PNG around a plate, like that, with the info on it. Oh, labels in the new update. You know, I don't know exactly what they have planned there. a very good question, but to me, how I see overlays and text labels is your ability to make a key or a reference chart for the map. Like, a lot of people who commission their maps will have numbers on the maps to be like, this room is this, and it'll have a key to the side with all the information. Most maps have a key for different symbols equaling different things, or, you know what I mean? So it would allow you to essentially, in a top-down, label your map for export. So you could be like, put numbers, that's how I imagine it at least, is put numbers or symbols on the rooms, and then you could put on the side what each number is, and when you export it, you can have a version of it with that. You can do that already, kind of, with abstracts, but it would take a lot of work. You'd have to put an abstract in every room with its own number. You know what I mean? If I had to guess, I'd imagine it'll be a limited tagging system where you have like a text entry that you can put in basic text information, maybe select a few fonts, size of font, and then maybe add a certain amount of symbols or things to it too, like a symbol for an area that you maybe could mark it as like a trap, you know, or mark it as like, you know, there's treasure in here with like a, you know, like a cool symbol to symbolize that, so you know in the map key. So, back to the question about tokens interact with everything. Not so much. They interact with a lot, though. Oh, this is the suggestion you were talking about, right? Here. Give it a vote up for you. Anyway, so there are a couple of objects you can interact with in first person. Let me give you an example here. So we have this thing called a moon gate. It's one of my favorite. It's a stargate, essentially. So let's drop a token. Then you can walk up to it, something like this, and if it has an interactable, it'll show it, and then you can turn it on. So if you're recording and then you interact with this, these UI prompts aren't shown in the recording. The UI at the top isn't in the recording or screenshots. So you can essentially record and then, you know, interact with things and use that as like a handout or a cutscene or something of that, a loading scene, etc. All right, everyone. We have passed the 2 o'clock mark by a little bit here. We usually wrap up at around 2. It is 2:10, so 10 past the hour. I would love to keep streaming, but I've got some other things I need to tend to today. So, with that note, I would like to wrap up the stream. For those of you that are new here, just remember, we do these streams every Saturday. They're called the Damn Stream. They're a weekly stream where we showcase community maps made in Dungeon Alchemist and teach you how to, you know, do these kind of things yourself. Teach you tips and tricks for your own builds. And if you aren't aware, Dungeon Alchemist is an AI-powered map-making utility available on Steam. It allows you to make maps in a snap using AI-assisted technologies, or you can dive in and build these beautiful custom maps by hand, as you see here. So it gives you the best of both worlds. We also have Steam Workshop with almost 3,500 maps. There's 3,450 maps, last I checked, and counting. And that is growing daily, and those are free to you to use in your campaigns. Our maps export for print. You can export video or stills for, say, tabletop play, whether you want to print it or use a tabletop TV or a projector. Additionally, we support VTT export, the big 3 exports: Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, Roll20. We offer direct export support with walls, line of sight, lighting, windows, doors, etc. We even offer animated exports. Anyway, Dungeon Alchemist is available on Steam. Make sure you go check it out. There's a link in chat. My name is Mac. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. This is the official Dungeon Alchemist channel. You can find us every Saturday on this channel, same damn time, same damn place. We say damn a lot because when you save a file in Dungeon Alchemist, it's saved as a Dungeon Alchemist map, DAM file. So every Saturday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and what is that, 8 p.m. UTC? We are live on this channel, and every Monday, a new addition to the weekly stream block is Map Maker Monday. This is a new edition, and it's kind of a new format that we're fine-tuning. We've only done 2 streams so far. Every Monday, and shoot, I forgot to create the event for that. I'll create an event in Discord so you guys can RSVP to that. Every Monday, we do a stream for about an hour, hour and a half, where I will be making a map, not showcasing community maps, but instead just focusing on building and showing you tips and tricks for building. Hopefully, we'll finish my current build, which is Marceline's house, this upcoming Monday. We're doing a build based on Adventure Time. There's a home in a cave called. There's a character named Marceline, and her home is in a big cave because she's a vampire. So we were kind of building that and making a close match within Dungeon Alchemist. A time shortcut? Yeah, we do. That'd be smart, actually. Maybe I'll do that soon. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I appreciate you all, and we'll see you Monday. Monday is at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, and 5 p.m. UTC, I believe. And 6 p.m. CET, I think, is the time slot there. We will be just chilling out, and I'll be working on that map, hopefully finishing it, and then next week we'll start a new map. We'll see you later, everyone. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next damn time. Back out.